Hi everyone. We are going to be starting our gore unit today, and I'm so excited because gore is my favorite thing to do makeup wise. We're going to start out, and I'm going to teach you guys how to do bruises. There are two types of bruises that I'm going to be teaching you today. The first one is fairly simple, it's a fresh bruise. And then the second one is an aged bruise. So, what you will need for the bruise is your bruise wheel and your stipple sponge. Now, with your stipple sponge, you want to make sure that you take some scissors, not these because these are fabric scissors, definitely not these. There we go. And you're going to want to round out your stipple sponge if you haven't already done so like this. Rounding out your stipple sponge just gives it a bit more of a natural look, and that's what we want with this. Can y'all see how I rounded it out? Okay, cool. So the next thing is the bruise wheel, and I have the Ben Nye bruise wheel. It is super duper old, so that's why it looks like this. You guys may have a different one. Maybe it's smaller like this, maybe it's Krylon. But what we're looking for is this light red, the darker red, the purple, and the yellow. We don't really use the green. And this is the chart that I have made. So the light red, mine is called Blood Rose. That one is 1. Burnt maroon is 2. Midnight sky is 3. Maize yellow is 4, and then the green one is 5. So if you hear me refer to those, that's what I'm referring to. Alright, so let's get started. The first thing that you're going to want to do is wash your hands because you're going to be touching your everything. You just, want to have washed hands. I'm going to scoot the camera down because I'm going to be doing it on my hand. That way you can see. Maybe I'll just do it a little bit more like that. There we go. So wash your hands before you start. I washed my hands before I recorded, so yes. Alright, so then you're going to choose a spot to put your bruise in. I'm going to do it like right here. So maybe it looks like I punched something and that's why I have the bruise. And then you're going to take your bruise wheel, and you are going to start with burnt maroon, which is the darker red, and you're going to get it all over your stipple sponge. And then you're going to take your hand where you're going to put it, and then you're just going to stipple it on. Just like this. And then after, you are going to take Bloody Rose, which is the light red one, and then you're going to just put it on top, creating a nice layer effect, like a nice effect like that. And then you're going to go in with the Midnight Sky, and you just need a little bit of this, not much. So it should look like this. And then you're going to take your sponge, and you're just going to soften out the edges a bit so it doesn't look so jagged. I kind of did that a little too big for the area, but that's okay. Maybe I really hurt it. So that is the fresh bruise. It is super easy, and yeah. I will now show y'all how to do the the aged bruise. For the aged bruise, you will need your bruise wheel and also a finger, because that's the easiest way to do this, is with a clean finger. So also you're going to want to make sure you wash your hands. Like I said, I washed my hands before this, so we're good to go. You're going to want to find a spot to do the bruise. Let's see. I'll do it like right here. And after you find your spot, you're going to take a tiny bit of the yellow on your finger, like that's gonna make a huge bruise. So, and then you're gonna take it and put it on, and then you're going to blend it out and make it really, really thin. Like almost you can barely see it. See how you can like barely see that? Yeah. And with the aged bruise, you start with the lighter color because as bruises age, they get more colorful, and so that's why we have the yellow at the bottom because we go from lightest to darkest. And you want to make it big because this is the base. All of the other colors will go inside of the yellow. Alright, so it should look like that. It's like barely there, but you can still see it. A common mistake that people make with this is they don't blend it enough, and they'll do it like super thick, like that. So that's not what it should look like, but this is what it should look like. Could be blended out a lot more, like that. Do y'all kind of see the difference? Okay. So after you do your yellow, you will do the same thing with the bloody rose, and you want to make sure to not get on the outside, and if you do, it's okay, you can add more yellow, but just try not to. Just add it on there, all around, just make those layers. See how I did that? Let's see. Alright, and then after the bloody rose, you'll take the burnt maroon and do the same thing. And as you're getting darker, the amount that you have just gets smaller and smaller. Just like that. And then lastly, you'll take midnight sky and do the same thing. Just a little tiny bit. So it should look like that. And if you want to, you can take more of your yellow. If you think you covered it up a bit too much, you can just spread it all around, just make it look as natural looking as possible. Because it's really easy with gore makeup to make it not look realistic. Maybe some down there. So it should look like this when you're done. Alright, so those are the first two things in the gore unit are bruises, fresh bruise, and then aged bruise. If you have any questions about the bruises, feel free to reach out to me. I will gladly answer them. And I'll see you in the next video.